that? Because you said that she ran on defund the police. There were her past comments on that, but she said that that was basically when she was a private citizen, before she was representing the state legislature. I mean, that wasn't like a core tenet of her campaign. She talked about affordability. So I think my question is do you really think that's what every Democrat looks like? I mean, I don't think that was the main, that was something that a criticism of hers, obviously, in past comments, but that wasn't the, tenet of her campaign or anything.
She got asked about it repeatedly and refused to back away from it. And look, I'm just telling you, this is what Democrats believe, and this is what their base wants. It's why she wouldn't go back on it.
That's Republican Scott Jennings calling out establishment media hacks on CNN as Democrats make it unmistakably clear they're not putting the crazy away. He's pointing out exactly how their candidates are getting more radical, not less, and how the spin just can't hide it anymore. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Republicans notched a solid win in Tennessee while Democrats kept showcasing just how radical their party has become. Because this race made something obvious. The left isn't dialing anything back. They're leaning harder into the extreme candidates their base now demands, which is why Jennings wasn't surprised at all. Here he is breaking down exactly what that shift means.
She and her brand of politics are the median Democrat. This is the basic Democrat you're going to get in most races around the country. This person running on defund the police, radical progressive positions, whether you're in Nashville or Manhattan or Florida or California, wherever you happen to be, this is what the Democratic base wants. The most cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs person they can find, and they're going to look at these results and say, hey, this is how we got so close, so let's replicate it around the country. I think we'll hear from her and her kind for the next year. I don't think it'll be good for Democrats. This is what Democrats believe, and this is what their base wants. It's why she wouldn't go back on it. I was just a private citizen. Oh, my gosh, we've never held what you said as a private citizen against you in a political campaign. For goodness sakes, what a ridiculous way to just maintain a position that nobody likes. This is the median Democrat position. She is the median Democrat candidate, and that's what their base wants. So that's what we're in for, and Republicans need to draw bright lines on this stuff in every race in the country.
Yeah. David Urban is saying, that we might never hear from her again. I don't know. She just alluded to the fact that she might run again next year, as she did in our interview. But Scott Jennings, when you look at this, a win is a win. That is our phrase of the night. But obviously, when you look at the margins here, if it does go from 22 points a year ago to single digits here, what would your takeaways from that be?
Well, first of all, there's lessons to be learned from everything. When you win, there's lessons. When you lose, there's lessons. And so I'm sure they'll look and see who turned out and what messages were effective and which ones weren't, and that'll be something the party can move going forward. It's an off-year special election. The turnout matrix is far different than a presidential, and it'll be different than what comes out in November. So you can take nothing for granted, of course, and Republicans do have historical headwinds. I still think they are in position to make an argument that their economic theories are better than the Democrats' theories. And Democrats, after all, took prices to the moon, and now they want to forget the last 4 years and pretend like this just started 10 months ago. I think most voters know that's patently ridiculous.
Jennings is absolutely right. Trump won this Tennessee race by 22 just a year ago, and yet a defund the police activist who hates Nashville's culture nearly flipped it thanks to low turnout in a Democrat base that's fired up by radicalism. Poll after poll shows 60 to 70% of Democrats now prefer socialism over capitalism. So Behn isn't fringe. She's the median Democrat. Republicans won, but they can't take anything for granted, especially when the Biden-Harris economic disaster is still fresh for voters. Here's Jennings taking it even further as he exposes Democrats' insane priorities.
No, I'm shocked at Democrats' willingness to defend illegal immigrants, narco-terrorists. I mean, basically anybody that's not an American citizen, you're first in line in the Democratic Party right now. I do not understand it as a strategy. Oh, look, I think I'm a political operative. I worry about everything. And I'm sure you do too. Special elections have a different turnout matrix, A. B, it is true Democrats have more motivated and also more reliable voters in their party right now, so that affects turnout in odd year or off year or special elections. There are lessons to learn here, but there's still a few more Election Day votes to count. The margin may grow a little bit. The last poll showed Democrats within 2 points. I think if we learned anything in this special election, it's that the Democratic candidate here, who was objectively cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Wait, I was going to call her a little wackadoodle.
That is the median Democrat candidate right now. She is basically center-cut Democrat is what you got out of Tennessee. You're going to see it all over the country.
As a Southern Democrat, I have to say, somebody traipsing around Nashville saying they don't like country music, that's not where we are.
You know, Democrats aren't just running radicals. They're running candidates who openly prioritize illegal immigrants, narco-terrorists, and non-citizens over actual Americans. I mean, that's the core of their agenda now. And in off-year specials, the most ideological voters show up first. Just look at the polls showing Democrats overwhelmingly embracing socialism by margins of 50 to 60 points. That's why Behn's worldview plays so well inside their base. Republicans should expect more of these far-left activists trying to slip through low-turnout openings, especially with establishment media cheerleading for them. Jennings is warning that this isn't an anomaly. It's the new normal for Democrats heading into 2026.
I've said from the beginning, since Mom Donnie was on the scene, this is coming to a city near you. This is where the energy is. Whoever is in power in the White House typically has a hard time in that first midterm. AOC has figured out, okay, she's picking people. Matt Van Epps, you could not find a better candidate. He checks he's an amazing American, this patriotic guy. And he's willing to serve, and yet it's this close. I do think that he will win.
I hope he does.
But the fact that it is close is a warning sign to Republicans everywhere that this Democratic energy from the far left is not going to stop. And it won't be Jessica necessarily, but you'll have Democrats, maybe Harold will say, she's not a real Democrat. No, like this is actually where the party is going. She campaigned with AOC the weekend before the election. That tells me that they're not worried about her.
Perino gets it exactly right. Democrats aren't slowing down. They're expanding the radical lane. You know, Behn is part of the same activist pipeline that's been boosted by national progressive groups pouring money into local races to test how far-left candidates can go. I mean, that's why she campaigned it with national socialist influencers who treat defunding the police as a core identity, not a mistake. This race showed how that machinery is spreading into places it never touched before. And Republicans should expect that network to show up again in 2026 with even more aggressive organizing behind candidates just like her. But let me know what you think. Are Democrats going to flood 2026 with more radical socialist candidates like Behn? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.